Hi, this is Mark Carrington from markcarrington.com. In this video, I'm going to do a review for week 11 of my internet profits journey. Well, it's a bit more of week 11 and week 12 because I've had a very bad cold all of the last week, so I didn't get as much work as I would have liked to have done. But I did start my first Twitter ad program the weekend of the Super Bowl, and I tested the results, and I ran a second campaign during the week, so that work was able to carry on while I was not feeling too good. Let's just go across to my brief presentation. So, paid ads using Twitter. Just a quick reminder on the strategy that I'm working through is a phased implementation program. Phase 1 is to test. Phase 2 is to verify, Phase 3 is to optimize, and Phase 4 is to scale up. So the testing is about identifying your customer target, about finding creatives or setting up creatives, writing the copy, finding the right influencers, and choosing your demographics. I'll come through to each of those in due turn. So step number 1 is to identify the customer target, and a reminder is that my customer avatar for the first campaign was a person I called Joe Fretful. He has his eye on pension and he's worried about his retirement, that he's going to have sufficient income to live through retirement. So he's sort of in the 55 plus age group. Now clearly there's a lady version of this, so we'll call her Jill Fretful, but the first campaign was targeted at Joe Fretful. So we decide and test a creative, which is a combination of image and words. Remember that Twitter uses the concept of cards, or you can just promote one of your existing tweets, but it requires an image or needs an image for best impact, and the chosen selection of words, and it needs to be aligned to your landing pages, or tweak the landing pages so they're aligned to the words. So I certainly did that. I modified my landing page so that it would align to the words. And then the strategy is to set up a test campaign. A test campaign, they're in 5 categories of influence. So pick a leader. So there I used retirement. Pick a software arena. Pick books that people might be reading. Pick the media that people that are watching, or the TV shows that people are watching or listening to. And then topics is essentially keywords. And then run a test campaign to the 5 groups with 3 ads. The idea would be to do, well, the strategy talks about doing 3 creatives, or one could do 3 segmentations. What I actually did is I ran one campaign with one creative targeting males. So I didn't run 5 times 3, I ran 5 times 1. And then during the course of the week, I ran a second campaign based on the same creative, but with some modifications to the targeting, so more targeting to females, and some modifications to some of the specific categories to widen or to narrow or just to modify the targeting. So I've set these up as 2 ad groups. So on the left we have, so on the left here, so my target is US. Now Joe Fretful is 55 years and older. Twitter only allows 50 and older, so I'm targeting people older than 50. The leader is, I identified 4 or 5 retirement people who are involved in the retirement planning industry who had sort of upwards of 50,000 followers each. For software, I chose to use HubSpot and HubSpot Academy because they have a fairly large following of people and have strong influence in people who are interested in doing their own sort of internet business. For the book, I use Robert Kiyosaki, who's the Think Rich bloke. For media, I had it quite narrowly down to CNBC, Mad Money. I noticed that when I watch Mad Money quite a bit, and Jim Cramer's followers, they're all males. Everyone who phones in is all males, and he certainly has a group of people that are in the age band, so that, and he's got 2 million people that are following him, so it's a large enough group. And then for topics, the keywords I chose for the first group was retirement and social security. For the second ad, I changed it up a bit, so I went mixed gender, specifically I went to look for females. So this was males. This was females. Retirement gurus, same group of people. For software, I added in ClickFunnels, but I left software as males. For the book, I added in Tony Robbins. Because the response rates I was getting on Kiyosaki weren't great. For media, I broadened media out completely. So I went up to Mad Money's parent, CNBC. I added in Forbes. I added in Bloomberg Business, which is BW, and I added in Reuters. So I'm looking at a wider range of financial and markets related media. And then for topics, I just added in these two words here based on some keyword research that I did for retirement income. So let's have a quick look at results. So the results, we go to the way to get to results. This is my profile. I'll just talk about the copy. So here's a copy. There's a card. I've tested it out before. It says, can you live on 1413 a month? Social Security hopes you can. Take steps to look after yourself. Click for free video. Now the imagery here, the dollar bills is to tell we're talking about money. The color is chosen specifically because it matches up with my landing page. The beach scene is apparently diagonals are important across this creative. So that's what the research told me. The rolled up dollar bills raised a whole bunch of questions. And then, of course, there's some words up here. Not sure you have enough cash to retirement. Take action to look after yourself and build a new business. Free video shows you how to earn solid commissions. And there's the link. And I'm going to click the landing page to show what the landing page actually looks like. So it's a very simple landing page. It says, worried your pension will not be enough. Need a plan B. You might just need to top up. Copy a step-by-step blueprint that has newbies earning 4-figure instant commissions. Protect your future. Yes, send me the free video into the email. And it's got a picture of the beach. So it's a very simple landing page. There's nothing underneath here. It's just, that's it. It's a very simple landing page. So how about the results? Well, the two campaigns. So I spent $150. So the first one I spent $100. So $20 allocated to each of the campaign groups, and that is Super Bowl Sunday. So it started at 9 in the morning US time before Super Bowl, and it finished 9 a.m. the following morning, so after the Super Bowl. And then the second campaign I ran, I only spent $50. The same with those 5 groups. And the results were, these are the number of impressions. So we got 5255 and 5856. So for half the money, I got more impressions. So let's just look at the specifics of the campaigns and then see what came out. So this is IP US Retire Feb 1. I'm not going to focus too much on this one because it'll become quite hard to read. I'm just going to, because I will summarize at the end. But well, there's the 5255. I got 52 link clicks. The highest link click rate was 2.65%. So 1,000 of these 5,000, so 20% of them produced more than half of the clicks, so 28 clicks. The second highest, so this category here was software. Second highest with 2% conversion was males following those retirement gurus or those retirement leaders. And the worst, and all the rest are well below 1%. So there are 3 clicks, so this is hardly even statistical, although this one here, 523 to get 3. So this ratio here is of interest because you got 3 clicks here out of 3 times the quantity of impressions. So it just tells me there were a bunch of impressions that here were just wasted. So that is the first one, and this is the second group. So we'll just go and highlight those numbers again. 5856, so more impressions for less money. So it was more cost effective, and I wouldn't be surprised that has to do that this one was run during the week on Friday, and the other was run in the Super Bowl, and I suspect Super Bowl timing was just more expensive. So I've got 43 link clicks, and a lower click rate of 0.73%. And the leading click rate, though, here was 3.25%, was higher than the other group, which was 2.65. And in this one here, I just added in, so it's still males, all I added in was ClickFunnels to go on top of HubSpot. The second group here is also the leaders, 0.97, and the and 8 link clicks. Now, what I haven't shown here is what the actual opt-in rates were. So these are clicks that people have actually looked at the ad. So let's go put that away. Now let's go to the next page in my presentation is what were the ad results. So I've covered those. Opt-ins. On the first ad, I only got one opt-in into my get response system. And the second ad, I got 2 opt-ins. So that tells me that I had some pretty expensive advertising for the number of opt-ins that eventually landed. So there's a gap, there's a problem. So we have to pin down what that problem is. Software was the best on both groups. The leader, the retirement planner as a leader was better. And media was the worst in this group, the Mad Money group. So I fixed that by changing the media. And I need to edit this because this is actually incorrect. The book was the worst, which was Kiyosaki and Robbins. So just for that quick correction is that media was the worst on this side and the book was the worst on the right hand side. So I did improve the media by making the changes there, but not well enough. So let's go on to the next one. What are the key lessons? The key lessons, one is the landing page is not converting well. It's converting less than solo ads. So that, and I don't know why that is. Whether it's just the time frame that it takes for people to expand the link, which they do on Twitter, then click the link and then decide what they're going to do. The landing page is not demanding in time, but I suspect there is not a compelling enough offer in the landing page for someone who's responded to an advertisement. There might have been a Super Bowl effect. A Super Bowl effect, especially for the 6 hours that the game is running, is they certainly were looking at stuff. There's no doubt they were looking at stuff during the Super Bowl differently to during the week, but they're not engaging with stuff. So that tells you that the advertising, you've got to be advertising something that's a bit different or something that's a bit more compelling. Females are actually more responsive to the retirement topics, so using keywords for females, they're more responsive than males. But the males are more engaged with the retirement leaders than the females, and I suspect that has just got to do with the mix of asset ownership is that males have actually are holding more assets than females, so consequently they're more engaged with those people. And then software is the lead influencer, is a strong category both times I ran. So where my problems are, and I'm really quite confused as to what to do next, is I suspect there is a landing page problem. So there's a landing page. Change the landing page. Change the lead magnet. Change the targeting and maybe go a bit younger and test some alternative creatives. And I've had idea of using video, for example, for creative, change the copy. So those are these. So there's a bunch of things that did not work. And unfortunately, when you're in a test regime and you've got this many things that are wrong, it actually takes quite a while to work out how you're going to solve your problem. So what am I going to do about it? So what are the critical questions that come out of all of this for me? And this is unfortunately was not answered in the strategy training. So I'm just going to have to start digging in and doing my own research. Is what is a good cost per impression? Now I paid $100, that's Australian dollars, to get 5,200, and I paid 50, and I got more impressions. So that tells me that my second lot of impressions was much more cost effective than the first lot. But what is the right number? How many should one get for $50? And then what is a good cost per click? So that first click onto the Twitter ad, and then how many clicks should actually convert into someone engaging with your link and then opting in? And then stepping up a level into the Twitter strategies. There are two ways to do Twitter ads in this category. One is to do a website conversion or website clicks, which is the one that I ran. The alternative is to do a leads campaign, is where you basically put your opt-in box into your creative, and Twitter keeps pre-populates the email addresses and then passes them on to you. So would a leads campaign work better? And that's easy enough to test. And then the next question I have is, does a simple opt-in page engage enough? Now, I know it works for solo ads, but it's clearly not working here. So it's either something in the nature of the page, or we actually need to have a more compelling offer. And I think it needs a more compelling offer in the words on the page. Does day of the week matter? Does time of day matter? I suspect the answer is yes, it does. I've been running these things from sort of running at, so they start running at 10 a.m. in the morning in the US time, and they run through for 24 hours, and they've typically have been completed well before the evening session. So people are engaging, but do I get better engagement if I actually run for an evening session, say from 8 in the evening onwards, or from 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock after Americans have finished eating their tea? And then the last critical question is, will Joe Fretful engage at all? Is this group hard to reach on this sort of topic? And I have some suspicions that it might not be. He just might be hard to reach, or you'll just have to work harder to smoke him out. So what do I do? So that's a lot of questions. And I'm as confused as hell now. I would rather go today. I went walking looking for orchids. Yesterday I went looking for orchids rather than actually deal with this. So what have I got to do about it? I'm not going to stop. So the next steps are to write down some specific test criteria and test them again. So I've laid out a whole bunch of questions there. It's just going to write those questions down and say, what am I going to measure, and then go and test them out. So that's step one. Step two is to go back to the strategy and said run 3 creatives. So we'll leave the existing creative, maybe tweak the existing creative. I'm going to test a different lead magnet idea, as I've just got a feeling that the lead magnet to this free video is just not working well enough. And the other is to test a video creative. I've got in mind to create a Joe Fretful. Meet Joe. Joe is pretty fretful about his retirement. These are the things, and a short 1 minute or 30-second video using a doodly type video. That's what we're going to test. Test a younger age group using the software lead. So just run that same ads for $10 and just test people who are 40 to 50 and see what sticks. And then the other idea is to run a solo ad to basically to top up the numbers this week with the same creative that I used in the ad. So that will tell me whether there needs to be a difference in the way click-based advertising on Twitter is different to solo ads. So that's pretty well it for the week review. So a frustrating week, but a week that produced results, disappointing results, but there is data. I haven't shown the detailed data, and Twitter does have a lot of detailed data to go in underneath the profiles of the people that have actually interacted with the advertising. There are retargeting information that I've been collecting, so there's a bunch more to go, but I haven't got the basic foundations understood yet to know that I have actually got a campaign that is worth going to phase 2 of the strategy, which is the verification stage. I have got work to do to test out and pin down what is my strategy that I can then optimize and scale up. So that's it for week 11. Appreciate your time.